Hello everyone, I'm Tommy and welcome to Studio Sense. The weather has finally changed, at least consistently a little bit warmer than it has been, so I think we can officially say that warm weather is here. So it's time to take out those aquatic, marine, water-based, ozonic-based fragrances and move them to the forefront of your rotation. Now, thankfully, fragrances aren't like clothes where you have to get some storage bins and you have to take and separate the clothes and put a lid on them and put them in the basement somewhere where they'll be out of the way so you can have clothes specifically for warmer weather. Thankfully, fragrances aren't like that. You can have, as in you can see behind me on my shelves, all of my fragrances are right there at my fingertips that I can choose from for whatever occasion and whatever mood that I'm in. That's the nice thing about fragrances as opposed to clothing. It's a lot more convenient and a little bit less bulky to move around and to work with. So today I'd like to talk with you about what I'm terming my top 5 sexy summer bangers. So those are coming up next, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. For when you want those beasts of longevity and beasts of projection, and you want to make the maximum effect with minimal spray, so I've picked out 5 of my favorite sexy summer bangers. First up is a fragrance that when it first came out, everyone jumped on the bandwagon and said, oh, it's just another Aventus clone, Creed Aventus, so we don't really need that. However, it's been out long enough to where I feel like its personality has actually come to the fore. And I'm not presenting these in any particular order, they just happen to be 5 summer bangers that I really like. So my first up is Mont Blanc Explorer. That's right, what a lot of people term just another Creed Aventus clone. It is, if you do like Creed Aventus, it's kind of a little bit harsher version, at least at first. This has a burst of bergamot, more so in the opening, and it does kind of become a little bit more Creed Aventus-y in the mid, but in the dry down, it has definitely got its own personality and doing its own thing. In the top, you do have bergamot, sage, and pink pepper. In the mid, you have an earthy vetiver and a nice leather note, an accord. In the base, you've got patchouli, cacao, ambroxan, and akigala wood. Now, Mont Blanc Explorer is one of my favorite fragrances. However, I can't wear it very often when my wife is around because, and no, she's not around. Actually, she's in the house. She's just away from this room because she knows every time that I spray this, she doesn't really care for ambroxan. And this is kind of an ambroxan bomb. If you've ever sprayed Creed Aventus, Dior Sauvage, Parfums de Marly Percival, any fragrance that has Office for Men, any fragrance that has a lot of ambroxan in it, that seems to become its signature. That's what this starts out being, but then that nice mix of the pink pepper and then really the mix of leather, patchouli, that earthy vetiver down in the base really makes this a fine fragrance. Now, what I really like about this is this just smells like success. It smells like money, good intentions that were followed through with. It smells like a college degree that you finally achieved. It smells like a business that's been around for a long time that's really successful and well known. And that word success is very sexy, and that's why it's made my list of top 5 sexy summer bangers. Now, the longevity on this, you have to be really careful. It is a daytime casual fragrance. You can use it for date night. It's perfectly fine. This is extremely versatile. All these are extremely versatile. So you can use this as a date night fragrance. I just warn you that if you're gonna spray this, pull back, dial back on the sprays, especially if you want someone that's gonna be close proximity to you. If you have too much of this on, it's going to do more to hurt you than it will help you. Dial back on the sprays if you're going to use it as a date night fragrance. 1 or 2 sprays is all you need for all day. And when I say all day, I get a good 10 to 12 hours longevity out of this with a good 2 to 3 foot of projection with at least a good 2 to 3 hours that this projects before it actually pulls back. And to me, it never becomes a skin scent. On clothes or on skin, this is with me even until the next day. This is a great summer banger, and probably why it's the one that I mentioned first, because out of all of these, it probably projects the best out of all of them. Mont Blanc Explorer, it does come in a 50 ml and 100 ml bottle. This is a 100 ml bottle, and it is extremely affordable. You can get this right around $40 to $50 mark. Very, very good, high quality fragrance. Next up on my list of 5 sexy summer bangers is Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense. Not the original light blue, but the Eau Intense. Now I do really like the original light blue. The O Intense, however, is the same DNA. It just is a little bit, as the name implies, intense. So it does have a little bit more longevity and a little bit better, at least in my experience and my estimation, projection. Now this is an aquatic, as you can see in the name and in the color. It is a blue fragrance, and as such it opens up very marine, very watery, very maritime, and very citrusy. Now it does have a kind of a citrusy jacket that it carries, but it kind of takes that jacket off somewhere around the mid, and so you get to enjoy those citrusy fruits in the open and in the mid, but then in the dry down, that's where I think this fragrance shines the most. So you get the benefit of that salty marine accord with a little bit of citrus and fruit going down into the base. Now it carries that throughout the life of the fragrance, at least for me. Now the longevity of this is about a good 10 to 12 hours for me. I recommend spraying in the crooks of your arms or on your neck, somewhere around your collarbone, to create a nice sillage trail. And with projection, you get a good 2 to 3 feet again for about 3 to 4 hours before it dials back a little bit. So again, all of these are bangers. Bangers, in my estimation, are ones that you don't have to spray all over your body, and about 3 to 4 hours into your day, you don't have to take the lid off and spray more just to get the kind of projection that you want. Because these are a little bit stronger or a little bit on the loud side, it's very easy to become anosmic to them, so be very careful about how much you spray around your face. Keep them about a good foot or more away from your nose as you're spraying them, if you can. And that way you can always have a good feel of where you're at with the fragrance and where you are with the, your amount of sprays and how much you want to use. Just something to be aware of. In the top, you've got mandarin orange and grapefruit. In the mid, you've got seawater accords and juniper berries. And in the base, you've got amberwood and musk. Now there's not a ton of notes in this, but the way that they're blended is extremely pleasant. This is just something that I could smell all day long, and it makes me feel like, you feel like you're walking on a pier on a beach. And that's something that is exceptional now because you can't really do that, right? We're kind of confined to our homes with isolation. You can't really get out, you can't really go fishing, you can't really go swimming in the ocean or lay out on the beach. This is the next best thing. So Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue O Intense, a great sexy summer banger. Next up is what I call one of the Bulgari twins, or the green machines, and that is Bulgari Man Wood Essence. This was released not necessarily in tandem, but very close to Bulgari Man Wood Neroli, which I have reviewed. Bulgari Man Wood Essence, however, is a wonderfully green, wonderfully spring and summery fragrance. Woods definitely are used to great effect most often in the mid and in the base, because often you get the best sense of what a wood is going to do once it's dried down, and once the carrier is dried off and some of those oils get to mix with the oils together here and also with your skin, you get a really good idea of what the essence of the fragrance is going to be, and Wood Essence is a great name for this fragrance. In the top, you've got sweet citruses, you've got coriander leaf, and you've got lemon, zesty lemon. In the mid, you've got cedar, you've got vetiver and cypress, and going down into the base, you've got that warm base of benzoin, sweet and warm benzoin. Now, this isn't a heat-activated fragrance, so don't necessarily wear it in the heat of summer. You can. This is a fragrance that you want to kind of wear in a modicum of a very like a temperate climate, a temperate weather. So I would say this fragrance is going to work best anywhere from 45 on up to 75, 45 and 75. The extremes, such in the 80 and the 90 degree weather, this is going to die down a little bit, dissipate a little bit faster. It may seem like it's going to give you a little bit more projection, but it's really not. It's going to kind of die off. But it lasts best in between 45 to 75 degree. Now I'm quoting Fahrenheit in terms of, not Celsius, Fahrenheit, in terms of the weather here in the US. At any rate, so high heat, not necessarily. This is a fantastic daytime, nighttime, casual wear fragrance. It is not supremely sophisticated, it is not supremely refined, but there's something about this that is extremely comforting, extremely familiar, and especially in our situation where we're self-isolating, comfort is what we want. If you're wanting something to make you feel a little bit better, it is kind of a feel-good fragrance. then Bulgari Man Wood Essence is definitely something that you want to add to your rotation. I can't recommend this enough. When I wear this, I usually spray it around within a foot of my face, right around here, and my wife absolutely loves this. She always really enjoys when I'm wearing Bulgari Wood Essence. Now, it is a little bit more understated than some of these fragrances that I'm talking about today, the other four. However, that does not impact the longevity. I still get a good 11, 12 hours of longevity out of this. It lasts really, really well. Now with the projection, not as much. I get about a good 1.5 to 2 feet for about an hour to 2 hours, and then it pulls back a little bit, but it sits very nicely on the skin. The personality is very consistent, and it stays within about a foot nimbus at all times, you know, of your projection and your sillage there. So keep that in mind. If you want to add a spray or two to kind of add to the projection, there's nothing wrong with doing that. This won't be very super cloying unless, again, you're going to be in high heat. As long as you're within that 45 to 75 degree kind of zone, temperate zone there, you're going to be perfectly fine to add a couple more sprays. So doing 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 even isn't going to hurt, isn't going to be super cloying. Bulgari Man Wood Essence, fantastic addition to the Bulgari Man line, and definitely a sexy summer banger. All right, guys, let's not keep you waiting any longer. Number 4 on my list of 5 spring and summer bangers to bust out and use is Acqua di Gio Profundo. Now, Profundo is a new 2020 release, and it is a wonderful addition to that Acqua di Gio DNA and lineup. It is a flanker that is extremely, probably one of the best, if not the best flanker in the Acqua di Gio line. It is fresh, it is bright, it is green, it is long lasting. I do call it a banger because it does have really good longevity. I get at least 10, 11 hours in longevity out of this with a really good 2-foot radius projection for about the first 2 hours, 2.5 hours of wearing this. Now, this is one that I consistently catch whiffs of as I'm moving about and around about my day, and that's what made me include it in this list. If I can continue to smell a fragrance on myself after I've worn it for about 4 to 5 hours, that brings a smile to my face every single time, and suddenly I get that big B in the top of my head for banger, B for banger that represents. So Acqua di Gio by Giorgio Armani Profundo. It represents a deep dive into everything that's profound about the sea. So it is very marine, a very aquatic fragrance, and as such is very fresh and very masculine and very familiar in some ways too with that Acqua di Gio DNA that people love so much. So it is a great addition to the lineup. It is a great banger for use for spring and summer. Excellent for casual wear, daytime, nighttime, date night fragrance. Perfect. It's got a wide range of versatility as well as a wide range of use. So Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profundo. And finally, last on my list of sexy spring and summer bangers is Emporio Armani's Stronger With You Freeze. Some people might think it is a redundancy since there is Stronger With You Intensely, but for me and for my usage, it has enough difference and it's got its own personality and some characteristics about it that I really like, especially in that mid and specifically in that dry down. Let's do a quick note breakdown of Stronger With You Freeze so you can get an idea of what that profile is like. While the composition is built around lime, lavender, sage, and amber and guaiac woods, it is also held together with fresh ginger and mandarin orange, a juicy apple note, and at its heart, that aromatic lavender, sage, and bourbon geranium combined with spiced cardamom. Finally, notes of the amber woods, bourbon vanilla from Madagascar that create that fragrance anchor. With all those wonderful fragrant notes and accords in it, it is blended so well. And if you do like Stronger With You Intensely, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to like Stronger With You Freeze. Freeze has that nice citrus twist on everything, on that Stronger With You DNA, that will carry it much better into spring and summer than I would think Stronger With You Intensely. Now, as a daytime and nighttime fragrance, it maintains that variety of usage and wear, casual wear, and does have that slight gourmand to it, but not quite as gourmand as intensely in that base, and that's what I really like about this. So Emporio Armani Stronger With You Freeze. Well guys, that's it for my 5 sexy summer bangers. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have others like these that you would like to share, please make sure to do so in the comments below. Or if you have these and have thoughts that you'd like to share on your experiences with them, please also in the comments below. Your thoughts are always welcome on this channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, thank you so much for your support. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.